for being here. Vado a provare qualcosa all'inizio. Quando Ombretta, la mia collaboratore da IBM, mi ha chiesto di essere qui in Milano per Codemotion, ho detto di sì. È una manifestazione per developer, fatta da developer, con tanti interessanti topic e di più in Italia. E per me, il mio nonno era italiano e per me l'Italia è, come dire, una seconda patria. So, should not go in English right now. In realtà sarebbe bastato solo che fosse in Italia. E io sono, dunque avete capito che io sono molto felice di essere qui oggi e IBM è molto orgogliosa di sponsorizzare questo evento. E mi piacerebbe di continuare tutta la presentazione in italiano, ma ho imparato l'italiano a scuola 20 anni fa e ho dimenticato molte parole. Come si dice, microservices, containers, Internet of Things, Docker. Ho dimenticato questo. So, adesso I'm going to switch back to English. That would be way easier for me, and I hope that will be, you will be able to understand me for the full conference. So the idea today is to talk about cognitive and about IBM. So I was talking with my IBM colleagues, and they told me, yeah, we have to show a different IBM. We have to show that IBM has changed. So I went to my mother, and I asked her, if I tell you IBM, what do you think about? And that's what she told me. I'm working in the cash registering business, which is not the case. I'm working on cloud, so that's not what I'm doing. Now, if I, went to my grandmother, and she told me, yeah, you are doing typewriter thing. That's not true either. I mean, yes, sure, we did that back in the days. And, there is this little bulb here, this golf ball, that was very useful because you could just remove one and put another one, and you had another font, actually, that you could type with. I mean, most of us, and I guess, you may know IBM for this, the big mainframes. And that's quite old, 1957, yes? Of course I can. Tell me I can go there. Is that better? Okay, you let me know. So I'll restart from the beginning. So the mainframe business, that's also something that we did a while back. And there is something else. I mean, you may have seen that, those old PC. That was one of the first personal computers that IBM built. And actually, there is something even maybe not a lot of people know about, and that's this thing. That's IBM Simon, and that was the first IBM, or maybe the last also, IBM smartphone. And it was built at 15,000, a series of 50,000 devices, designed by IBM and sold by, I think, Bell in the US. And actually, if you, let me see, I think most of you should have been born by then. I mean, if you have seen this movie called The Net with Sandra Bullock, that's the IBM Simon that they are using in the movie. And that was, before the day where we had iPhones in all TV shows and movies. At some point, we had IBM phones, actually, in TV shows. So, if you look at IBM over, now it's more than 100 years that IBM is doing business. If we were to stick with all these things, we won't be there anymore. So over time, obviously, the company has evolved, has embraced the market that was existing, created new markets, and constantly innovating. So I've not started in IBM. I was part of an acquisition, like many IBMers. And when you are inside IBM, you see a different company. I mean, you see a lot of things that we don't really show outside. And obviously, when the cloud became bigger, IBM had to embrace this. Come on, fix this. They are too far. You want me to take it like this? Wow. Okay. All right. So we're talking about, that's too loud now. we're talking about the cloud, and obviously, so IBM has to look into that. And if you think cloud today, and I like this quote from the founder of Galvanize. Galvanize is an education company, and they create online courses and even site courses. And if you take your laptop today and your credit card, obviously, and you go to any PaaS provider or infrastructure provider, you can quickly set up your own network of machines, provisioning virtual machines, even provisioning real hardware computers, and that's from your own laptop, and you can get access to the same kind of resources that big companies are getting access to. And so this, I think that's really a big change compared to what we were doing back in the days. And that helps to drive innovations. I mean, for companies who want today to disrupt their market, and they can benefit from the cloud to do that. And then it's really a matter of beginning this innovation cycle in order to build the right application for the right user at the right time with the right user experience. I think at Codemotion there are many different sessions that talks about user experience, which is kind of key in building good applications. So for IBM, the offering that we are providing in order to support this innovative cycle is called Ibm Bluemix. Some of you may have heard about it already. You may have been in the workshop yesterday, and you may have planned also to attend other workshops. And so Ibm Bluemix is our platform to create, deploy, and manage your applications, whether it's a mobile app, web app, any kind of app that you can think about. That's something that can be supported by Ibm Bluemix. And at the foundation of Ibm Bluemix, there is a lot of open source software. IBM is known, or should be known a lot for the endorsement of open source software. And if we look at Bluemix, there are three different foundations, I would say, in terms of what you can build on top. The first one is the Cloud Foundry. So Cloud Foundry is a platform as a service and an open source stack that we leverage in Bluemix to deploy applications. That's painful. And the other one is Docker. So containers, I think that's something that is there to stay, and it's taking more and more importance in big companies and in small companies to build applications today. And then there is OpenStack with the virtual machines. So those are the three, starting points when you're going to build applications and want to deploy them. And that's something supported by the IBM platform. And typically, if you have been into the microservice workshop, those are good elements to build microservices, those technologies. We had those monolith applications, something big that cannot evolve a lot. And the more, what we see a lot is the move toward microservices. And there is this workshop, I think it's today in room 8 that you can attend, to develop microservices with IBM Bluemix. And once you have selected the platform, the base components. So now you say, yeah, I'm going to build an app with Cloud Foundry. The next thing that you want to do is to look at, an app is just not something that just sit by the app. You want to have databases. You want to have push notifications if you are going to build a mobile app. So the key then is to look at what type of services can I consume as part of my app, and how easy it is to provision those services and to use them. And so that's also part of the Bluemix catalog. There are services for different type of applications, whether it's database, a NoSQL database, MongoDB, relational databases, so we have DB2 there. There is Postgres also that you can use there. And then services. There are different type of services around analytics. You may have heard about Watson. I'll come back to that. Services for mobile to manage the backend of a mobile app. And again, when you look at services here, you will find several services that are just, should not say just, but that are taking Apache components, like we have Apache Spark, and making them available to developers as a service offering. So recently we introduced the Apache Spark as a service as part of the Bluemix catalog, which means that you can, code against Spark without having to worry about how it is being managed, setting up the Spark cluster and things like this. So that's, I think, good property of platform as a service, where you focus on consuming a service and not on managing the infrastructure that is behind. And if you want to do that, you can still go and provision your own virtual machines, maybe Docker containers, and have a bit more control over the infrastructure. But if you just want to, to be quickly effective and deliver value, I think it's good to be able to just consume those services. There is one small story. As I was preparing for this press, I got some notification on my phone about Milan and Codemotion. So I had made the reservation for the hotel, obviously, and Google started to tell me, yeah, in 6 days. So that's in French now, but in 6 days you will be in Milan. And so that's the current weather in Milan. And if you want to see some places in Milan, I'm going to show you some links to articles that talks about how to spend 3 days in Milan. So I'm going to spend only 1 day, visiting the city. The other 2 days are for Codemotion. But this shows a bit about what I want to talk next. That is how the data that we are generating every day, or that are sitting there, are being used more and more to put that there. Are being used to deliver better user experience. And there are many type of data like this, like our location data. You guys seen if you have your phone on and there is a GPS activated, it collects all places where you are, and there are apps that are using this to give you some hints about places where you are or where you are going to be. The health data in the latest Apple phones, that's also a lot of data being collected. And social data. I mean, there are a lot of information that we leave as part of our, if you are tweeting, if you are putting data into Facebook. I had just 5 minutes. That's not in the agenda. Okay, sorry. There's so many good things after that, but okay, let me just go faster. So, there is this study that shows that we're going to interact more and more with cognitive technologies by 2018. And there is this company called Operator.com that is in this business. I mean, their idea is to say that the next thing that you are going to buy, you are going to pass by an operator. A while back, when you were going to phone someone, you had to talk with an operator in order to connect you with the other party. So their idea is to say, if you want to order flour, take the app, ask for flowers, and you will have a real human that will be asking you about what type of flowers for which occasion, and then providing you with advice in terms of what type of flower to buy, and then giving you a price so that you just have to say, okay, that's the flower that I want, just order them for me. And what they say is that all this is powered by real humans. Now, if you think about making this business successful, either they are going to solve the unemployment issues, or they are going to put maybe more automation behind that. And digging a bit deeper, not that deep actually, just looking at their Twitter feed, they are hiring people in machine learning. So obviously, that's something that they will put behind their software, so that they could make automatic decisions, or they could just, help the operator in order to choose what's the right product for the people who are asking. And there is another company called Go Moment that is doing something similar, but for the hotel industry. Their idea is to say that as soon as you are going to enter as soon as you're going to check in, you will get an SMS, a text message that will tell you, that will welcome you to the hotel, and you will be in contact with Ivy, their concierge. And from there, if you want to, you are in a city that you don't know, you want to find a good restaurant, you want to go to a concert, or you want to go to the cinema, you need to book the tickets, you can just reply to the SMS, and then there is a dialogue between you and this AI that will help you to book the ticket or thing like this. So in that case, they are working with IBM Watson in order to implement the AI behind this text messaging, and that's something that we see more and more. I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to reuse it in my session tomorrow, just to save some time that I was supposed to have. But anyway, and move straight to the next thing about the two type of services that. That's not true. Okay, thanks. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is IBM Watson and the Alchemy API. So those are two type of cognitive APIs that we have into the Bluemix catalog, and that are being used to implement this type of applications. Before it was complex to put that into production. Now you can just go provision a service. I mean, give some learning to this service to help the service, make the right decision when a call is made. But it becomes very easy to implement things like processing of natural languages, looking at the document to find out whether it's a positive sentiment or not, and analyzing text, looking at images to detect what's in the image. And tomorrow I will show a bit more about that in my session. And those services are part of Bluemix and are the type of servicing that will help build the next generation of apps that we call cognitive computing, where there will be a bit more maybe intelligence into the app and something more personal that understands you, that understands your context to provide you more better experience in achieving their goals. And so you have services, you have runtimes. Data is also very important. So there are two types of data that that you can use to build your apps. I mean, the Twitter data, obviously. I mean, we know that there is a lot of stuff in Twitter, and the weather data. So you may have heard that we recently acquired we are planning to acquire the digital assets of the weather company. So that's basically everything but the TV channel. So the core data, and that will help Watson to make good prediction about the weather, and also developers to use weather into their apps. And just think about all the industries that can be affected by the weather, and that's really a good source of data that you will want to have access to. The Twitter is the same. Talking about Twitter, before coming here, I was looking at, was using this Twitter service to build, to look at all the tweets for Codemotion in the last 2 years. And just looking at that, you clearly see the trends and when an event is happening. Like, okay, there is Roma, there is Milano, and Roma in 2015, who beats Milan. And I think our goal today, and tomorrow should be to beat Roma and to tweet a bit more than what they did. So today it's, I mean, that was from yesterday, still quite low. I guess in the next 2 days we have to work a bit more to be able to beat them from Roma. So that's a shortened version of what I wanted to talk about. I think that's already enough. The one more thing that I wanted to put is that, sure, we are still doing all this kind of stuff, but there are still mainframes around. I think their design is way better than what we have seen at the beginning. And actually, when it comes to cloud, those are running some big analytics and big data workloads around the cloud. So I will stop there so that the time is saved. We can see you in the session tomorrow. Have a good conference. There are 2 good sessions coming up next. I think I'm going to put the one in user experience. Thank you. I had candies that I wanted to throw if I had some time. I've seen that as a tradition from last year. We want to help me? Thank you.